Hello everyone, thanks for tuning to KT Garage. This is part 3 of the fender vent installation project. On part 1 and part 2, you guys seen some of the difficulties that I dealt with as far as trying to install the vent. I ran into a problem with this bracket was in the way. And so at the end of part 2, I decided just to leave these out and put in an extension cable that goes into the trunk area and just leave them there for now, because I really don't need OnStar anyway. But now that I realize, after driving around a little bit, I lost the GPS signals altogether. So the car is no longer communicating. So it's not only the OnStar features, but your GPS is gone. That means that your navigation, all that stuff is no longer working. This is a 2LT, so you know I do have the navigation options and a bunch of other features that need GPS. So in this part, I'm going to try to relocate this, find a location for it, possibly build brackets for it. So let's get right to it. All right guys, so let's get things started. First, I'm just going to take all the molding pieces out, take that covers out, and then we're going to try to place the antennas on the inside. When that's done, we're just going to put the covers back so nobody can tell that the antennas inside. So on the driver's side bracket, what I did was I cut off this section right here because it's just way too long, it won't fit in there. I used a saw to cut these. You can see this is the saw that I used. And on this side, I'm going to trim. I started already a little bit here, as you can see. I'm just going to go ahead and trim all the way down here so my bracket is a lot shorter to deal with. Okay, so this bracket is a lot shorter, and my plan is to mount it just like so. And then I'm gonna lay this down for a minute. So on this side, I'm gonna use these 2 bolts right here, build a bracket to come out to about here to mount that side. Now on this other side, there's a bolt down there. This is for mounting the battery tray. So I can just bolt another bracket here to here. I'm probably gonna drill and tap a couple of holes here to hold it on that particular side. And pretty much this side is taken care of. It's pretty much out of the way of everything else. All right, so I got those 2 brackets on paper. And what I'm gonna do is transfer these into steel. I'm gonna cover it with a plasma cutter, bend it a little bit, and then we're gonna go try them on. Okay, so the driver side is almost done. I got everything in place, and this is how the design looked like. This bracket over here basically just support this from this side. I drilled a couple of holes. I marked it down there. I haven't drilled on top yet, but basically I'm going to drill on top these 2 holes to match up with that. Now on the other side, let me flip this up so you can see it. This bracket is mounted to the side of the antenna, and then I drill a hole below. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna mount to that bolt right down there that you can see. That's a battery tray bolt. I'm just gonna go ahead and take that out and mount it into that hole right there, and we're done. So what I'm gonna do now is I'll just take the brackets out and paint it and then install it, and that'll be finished for this side. All right, so I removed this bolt from below, and as you can see that I put a little washer on there because there's a little bit of a recess down here. So you wanted to raise that surface up, kind of to conform with the outside, and then you can go ahead and bolt this thing on. It's gonna be hard for me to hold the camera and do this. I'm just gonna get it mounted, and then I'll show you guys what it looked like. Okay, so now I'm gonna start the assembly process. I bolt this back on. This whole thing is painted, and so first thing first, I'm going to go ahead and plug these 2 plugs in. As you can see, there's a yellow plug and kind of a dark red one, a purple, something like that. So now coming out of the antenna cable, I use this adapter that they're identical in color. So what I did was I marked these 2 cable, which one is the purple and which one is the yellow. And this is how I can get this back the way they were. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug them up. Well guys, it's done. Driver's side is done. So these 2 bolts already been torqued down. These 2 little screws is torqued down. I tapped the steel plug that's under, so they're already secured. These 2 screws already been secured. And then the last one down there, I had to use an extension for that, but that went in and it's torqued. So at this point, we're done. Let's move over to the passenger side and see what we're dealing with over there. So as it turns out, the passenger side is a lot easier to deal with. What I did was I cut off the extra section to there. On this side, the piece was out to here, trimmed that. And when I looked in here,
So there's this bolt hole right here, the thread in it. It's not using it for anything. So I was able to find a matching bolt for that. It's a millimeter. I don't know what the size is, but I have tons of millimeter of metric bolts, and I tried a few of them and got one of them to work. So what I'm gonna do is slide this in there, just like that, line up with that hole, and then I'm gonna bolt. Let me see here. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to locate that hole and then drill a hole on the aluminum bracket, bolt that down. So that's done on that side. Now this side, what I'm gonna do is drill a hole up here, a hole here, bolt into there, and I am done. So this side is a lot easier to deal with. We'll go ahead and start drilling holes. Well guys, this side went in real easy. Took me about 20 minutes, and I got this side in, plugged the wire in, everything's all set, good to go. Plenty of clearance for AC recharge. Everything has nice clearance everywhere. So what I did was, that bolt there, I'm sure I can zoom. You guys can see it. It's a metric bolt. So I drilled a hole on the aluminum, torqued that down, so that side is like fixed. I think this is part of the shock tower, and that's just an extra hole. They tapped it, I think, during the manufacturing process of the shock tower or something, because it's not being used. And so this side, I just drilled 2 holes on the bottom, 2 holes here, put a couple of zip tie. This thing is staying in there. It's not gonna go anywhere, so I'm done. Well, here it is, guys. I just got the trim pieces back, get that piece on top back on. It fit perfectly, there's no interference anywhere. If I didn't tell you about the antennas under there, you wouldn't know that it's under there at all. All right, the project's completed. I'm super happy that everything is functional again. I just checked the GPS and navigation. Everything is working the way it should be. So now everything's working. Project's complete. I get to move on to doing some other things. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in to KT Garage. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you.